All right, now, yesterday you were talking about being in that giant battleship, going up and across in a convoy.
This is where we left off. Was in the Mediterranean, going along the coast, north coast of Africa, and we were really off of Morocco and approaching Sicily. And the invasion of Italy, the southern part of it, was in the motion. Some of the troops were ashore. Patton of the American Army, Montgomery of the British Army were rivals, really, individually. Each thought he was the best. And
It's like football.
yeah. And so they were rivaling for who gets to go ashore first and who makes the best progress and who's the best commander. And we were kind of stymied since we had supplies in the ship. In fact, we were supplying the British Army, and so we were destined to go up the west coast of Italy. And so we approached Sicily. We had a big convoy point where it's St. George, right at the foot of Mount Etna, and where all the ships were gathering before we could go to any port and unload. So we stayed there several days, waiting our turn to go up into the boot of Italy. If you remember correctly, the boot of Italy kind of scoops out there right at Sicily.
Oh, yeah.
And Adriatic Sea's on the right side as you go up, the west side of Italy, actually. We were going to the port of Bari, B-A-R-I, or Brindisi. And we wound up going to Brindisi. It had a bigger harbor. And we were able to unload.
Oh, I have a question before you tell me about your unloading. What kind of room did you have? Were you with a bunch of guys in bunk beds or what?
No, just my partner and I were both cadets, midshipmen, and we bunked together in a room.
One room.
One room.
Was it little?
It was pretty good size. It was up in the part where the officers were, and it better quarters. And
That's nice.
not too bad on the food too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what kind of food did you eat?
Peanut butter.
Did they fix you anything better than that?
Well, they had Welsh rabbit a lot, which is just a kind of a conglomeration of cheese and whatever. I had no problem with the food. In fact, I really wasn't all that hungry. On the motion of the sea.
Oh, yeah. Did you get seasick?
No, I didn't. But the fella I was working with, the first officer, did. He was from the north, from the Chicago area of the Great Lakes, and he was a Great Lakes seaman. And he was not unaccustomed to the pitch and roll of the ocean. It's different from the Great Lakes. And he got seasick. He broke his glasses.
Oh, no.
And he was really badly blinded by the fact that he couldn't see worth shucks. So he used me a lot to do all his seeing. We had to stay
Wow.
in position in the convoy, left and right and front and back, and stay in our position. And so I was really involved in that, which was very difficult.
Now, you say it was midwinter.
Midwinter.
What kind of temperatures are we talking about?
Well, they had face shields keep you It's way on the Flying Bridge, they call it. And,
Kind of like we do with COVID, they have those plastic shields, or
Well, it wasn't
different?
plastic, it was some kind of cloth,
oh,
water resistant.
could you see through it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So it was not bad. Not as terrible as you could imagine to be.
And you didn't go swimming, even though you wanted to, because it was an invasion of Italy, and you thought perhaps there might be the ship might leave you in order to go. And okay.
That crossed my mind.
And tell me again about those people who came up to you with the oranges. What are they called?
We sailed into St. George, a big port, and all these fellas swarmed around your boats, your ships as you came in, because they knew you were a new customer, and they were hollering up at you to buy oranges and whatever else they were trying to sell. But particularly it was the time of the winter when oranges were out pretty much price, pretty.
So that was a good treasure. Yeah, that was delicious. Something. Well, if in my head those boats are huge, how could they get the oranges up to you?
We lifted them up by. We had to work a little rig out. We had it like a basket.
You dropped it down with your money,
and with the money in it, and after yapping back and forth, and they couldn't understand English. We couldn't understand
Italian.
But anyway, it worked out all right.
All right, now you could go to Brindisi because I just wanted to hear some details.
Then we went on up when they cleared us to go to the port of Brindisi, up the Adriatic. And of course, this was the invasion, and we were way south of Rome, and just barely on the boot side
Right.
of the shoe of Italy. And Albania across to the west was visible. At the time, it was friendly to Germany, and so we were vulnerable to there. And as we unloaded, our cargo was mostly trucks and military vehicles of war, all kinds. And that's where we were unloading at Brindisi, and took her dad through there. Then we were cleared to go empty, and we did at night. And about several miles out of the port, we hit something that nearly turned us over.
Oh.
I never did understand what that was.
I bet that was a shock.
The ship raised up and turned sideways. We thought maybe we hit a submarine, or possibly a big whale or something. It had to be a big lake. Anyway, they made me, and they have a sailor who is designated the what they call him, the ship's carpenter.
Ship's
They
what?
made Carpenter.
Oh, okay.
He's a general handyman.
So he could maybe fix it or something?
Yeah, he's a fix up. The two of us want to designate us probably the most expendable to go down to the bottom of the ship and search for any holes or something.
You go.
Which we did. We did go down to, it's about 3 stories down, to the bottom of the ship. And found nothing. Nothing. It was leaking.
That's good.
Yeah, it was. But the captain wasn't satisfied. Whatever it was, something was real, and what was it, and what did it really do? So he turned into Taranto, which is the shoot part of Italy. Is a car, but then the port of Brindisi was the naval base of the Italian fleet. Had Italian remnant of the Italian Navy and French Navy. And we pulled in there, let them look at it too, and they found nothing of any consequence. Of course, it was wartime and we weren't sinking, so they didn't give us much hope. Then we moved from there out to sea, back through the gates of Hercules, which is Gibraltar, and out into the Atlantic Ocean, and made a straight streak for home to Newport News, Norfolk, and dry dock. They dry docked us a few days there to clear us and to get another cargo. And I got time to go to home to Gulfport while the ship was in dry dock.
How did you get there? Did you fly?
No, railroad.
Oh, okay.
See, I went back to Norfolk, and the ship was put in dry dock.
Oh, okay. I see. So you went back that whole way? Was it because of the ship? Okay.
And I think in about 4 or 5 days at home, and then back with a boarder. My partner was late, and they wouldn't let him but get back on the ship
Oh.
because we were sailing back again with the cargo, going this time to Casablanca, where we went fast. Good trip. And
How many days does it take to go by ship over to Casablanca?
well, the old cargo ship, the old Chief Joseph, would only go max speed, probably 13, 14 miles an hour. And so it wasn't very, wasn't fast at all. It was 13 miles an hour. You're creeping. And that's really weren't going 13 miles an hour if you're in a convoy.
No.
You're going to the slowest ship set to speed. And so we went back over to Casablanca. And the thing that really startled me about the ocean charts, we were always looking at charts. And there's a great part of the ocean off of Africa that's muddy. Muddy water, the ocean is clear blue, beautiful, but over there, near the Azores and the Canary Islands, there's different spots. What it is undersea volcanoes that are have been for years, thousands of years, I guess. But the ocean is muddy, and you can tell when you're in the area of the sharks been for years, That was always astonished me.
Yeah.
That's a real
It's unnerving.
phenomenon. Anyway, we pulled into Casablanca and unloaded. I went to Stanley Drummond as the captain, and I went to a Tarzan movie in Casablanca. It wasn't bombed or anything. It was pretty much
Untouched.
typical.
Okay.
But
So you went to a movie.
then we went back to the ship and sailed back to the U.S. and they wanted to send me to school, college really, the Merchant Marine Academy, which is in Long Island, called Kings Point. And I didn't want to go back to school or college. I had a taste of the war, and I was to come know anyway to fight the Germans. And so I said, I don't want to do this. And I don't really think I was cut out to be a sailor, shipboard, So it was interesting, good, and I enjoyed the service. But I resigned from the Merchant Marine, went home, joined the Army, and within 90 days, I was back on the way to Europe.
On
aboard-
another ship?
Yeah, another ship went to New York by rail from Gulfport, really from Camp Shelby. No, from Fort McClellan, Alabama.
okay.
And went on to New York, middle of the night, about midnight. They gave us a tremendous breakfast. You know, those things they ran them around about midnight, really. We ate a big breakfast. The last meal we ate for 3-4 days.
Oh, wow.
And went on up to the Queen Elizabeth, which they had the Queen Elizabeth and the Queen Mary alternating across the Atlantic. They didn't go in convoys. They went individually and at max speed.
Okay.
So when the old Queen Elizabeth would go, you would go about a few minutes this way and then that way, and you were just rocking back and forth all the way across the Atlantic. So I think they put us down on I wound up in the swimming pool.
What?
Where the swimming pool normally would have been, it was
You slept there?
dry, but they had thousands of troops on board. I guess they had, I don't know how many, but there were probably about a regiment at least. And so we were bound together. I was, you know, like you talking about bunk beds all the way to the ceiling. And
That's what they had this time?
that's what you
Okay.
went into. And that was where you stayed. You didn't have a run of the ship from, you had your designated area that you stayed in. And we had 2 meals a day, an apple or an orange and whatever else, mostly not heated, it's cold. But a lot of the time people were sick and weren't hungry anyway. So anyway, it went pretty fast. Good smooth trip. And,
Hold on a sec.